Well, most people know how important sleep is to their well-being, and yet studies show Americans continue to do without, not getting the optimal amount of sleep every night, and this long-term can be dangerous. Joining us now to talk more about why sleep is so important is Dr. Richard Chaffoo. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you, Misha.
So we know we should eat right, exercise, and of course sleep, but for some reason we just do not get the message when it comes to how much sleep. And as a new mother, I certainly can understand how difficult it is to function. So why is sleep so important?
So Misha, sleep is important because if you think about it, a third of our 24-hour cycle is spent sleeping. And we know sleep researchers and neurological researchers have looked at sleep, and they found that a number of functions occur during sleep that are quite important. Some of our brain centers actually begin to be more active. Some of the areas become less active, and what we see is actually release of growth hormone, even in young children. So the adage that you need your sleep to grow is actually quite true in a sense. The neurons begin to repair themselves. When they rest, they actually rebuild, recreate proteins. So there's a very important physiological effect, almost a reparative effect, that occurs with the brain with sleep, and of course doesn't occur when we have sleep deprivation.
Well, so then it's a term that most of us heard, but maybe we don't actually understand. Insomnia. What is insomnia?
So Misha, insomnia is a lack of sleep, and it can either be something that's short term, a few days or a week, or oftentimes can be chronic or recurrent. And what it means is you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need for your age. Now normally, adults anywhere from 18 to 65 need anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. So if you're not getting that amount of sleep, then by definition you have insomnia.
So what are then some of the health risks that people are looking at if you're not getting, 7 hours?
Yeah, I know, it seems like a lot, right? So many of us probably don't get that. But so what happens long term? We do know there are physical effects that occur. There's a higher incidence. People with insomnia have a higher incidence of obesity, higher incidence of heart disease, higher incidence of hypertension, and then there are actually psychiatric effects. We can have swings, changes in our mood, depression, and with long-term deprivation of sleep, we can begin to have hallucinations. The other important thing is that the simple fact of the matter is that without enough sleep, we have impairments of memory, inability to operate cars. We know car accidents go up, and certainly you're less attentive at the workplace, and if you're operating dangerous equipment, you can see that you're more likely to have work-related accidents.
I'm curious too, long-term, what are the effects of that?
So long-term, certainly that's going to amount to having long-term psychiatric problems with depression, mood disorders, and of course long-term weight gain. People that have sleep deprivation, oftentimes diabetes, hypertension, and when you get that sleep returned to a normal state and you correct the insomnia, many of these conditions will improve significantly.
So what is the one thing that folks can take away from this today to go home and get a better night's sleep tonight?
Right, Misha, the big thing is make it a priority. Just like we all eat 3 times a day, we all obviously want to get some exercise. But the important thing is if you're going to sleep, you want to make sure, put those electronics away, for goodness sake. You want those away from your bed. It's so easy to put those on when we're sleeping at night, or when we're trying to get to sleep, I should say. And what happens is 2 things. One is the screen is bright, and it makes the brain think that we're really in a wake state. And second of all, we're concentrating, our brains are actively looking at emails or texting or just searching the web, and that also keeps our brain too active. As long as we're in a room that's dark, that's cool, this relatively comfortable temperature, away from electronic devices, even TVs, we'll get a better night's sleep.
All right, put the phone away. That's hard for a lot of folks. Dr. Richard Chaffoo, thank you so much. Always a great conversation.
Misha.